Well, it's late November in British Columbia, Canada, and I finally have another update on the F100 Police Interceptor project. Just quickly go through and show some of the changes or things I've done since the last update. I've relocated the seat belts. They used to be down there, the 3-point. I moved them up top. It's much more comfortable. And I got the passenger one in as well. And like I say, they both are feeling good now. And back here, I'm securing the bed a lot better to the Crown Vic body. As you can see over there, I took a piece of 16 gauge metal, I bolted it to the Crown Vic body. There's a little flange on the inside of that hump, so I drilled through there, bolted it, and then bolted the wheel well onto that. It's made it nice and solid. So between that and how it's mounted to the back of the cab, I think it will add a lot of structural rigidity, put a lot of that back in compensating for the Crown Vic body being gone. I think the frame by itself would have been fine, but this will just make it a little bit more solid yet. The reason I bolted instead of welded is because the gas tank is under here, and I just felt better bolting than welding. Speaking of that, I relocated the gas filler back here. So that's, I just used a piece of flexible 1-inch inside diameter gasoline hose to relocate it. And I secured the original Crown Vic filler to the wheel well with an old hockey puck. I just drilled a hole through it and slotted it, put a hose clamp so it fits really tight on there, and then a couple of bolts on, and made this surprisingly solid. After I've got some ideas on how to hide the whole thing, and so probably won't see that in the finished project or finished version, but I thought I'd show now how that's done. Don't know if you can see from the inside, but I'll try to get a shot there. Yeah, there's the fuel line. I had originally put it forward and mounted it right here. It was nice and flush. It looked really good. I put the tire back on and realized there's a possibility if that rear axle wouldn't full up with its travel, it could contact the hose, and realized that was a major safety concern. So it's much better back here. There's no way that tire can contact it, and it should be good. Before I show you the other side, I've accumulated a lot of extra parts for 57 to 60 F100s. Got a lot of small parts too, so if you're doing a similar project and need parts, let me know in the comments, and maybe I can help you out. On this side, I've started with the body work, smoothing things out. There's a lot of little dings and dents all over the place. I found out most of them best I could. A little bit of filler on the areas I couldn't. This door came off a different truck and had been painted a number of times, so I sanded it down to the original red paint and filled in some of the areas on it as well. And the hood too, did straightening on it and a little bit of filler. And I'm going to go through the whole body yet and try to make it a little bit smoother than what it is right now. I've also decided on a color. I don't know if I mentioned this in a previous episode or not, but I'm going to make it old truck blue and white. Up top here you can see original color. It's got the blue and primer showing through. Front fender, you can also see that as well. I'm going to try to duplicate that throughout the whole truck. A couple of reasons. I think it'll look cool, but also since it's going to be a duller finish, I think it'll hide some of my my body work if it's not perfect. I tried a little section right here, and this was basically bare rusted metal in this corner. So I sanded it down and shot it with red oxy primer, and then gave it a coat of color matched teal paint, and then sanded it down with 400 grit sandpaper, and until a little bit of that red oxy primer showed through. And I think it actually looks pretty close to what's original up here. Pardon the dust up there. It's a lot of the dust from sanding that I haven't cleaned off, but here you can kind of see the original and what I painted. And I'm going to do the same with the white too. Have some of the primer showing through on it. And then in the next episode, I'll give an update on shortening the bed. Yeah, I decided to do that. I think originally I said I wasn't, but the more I looked at it, the more I realized wasn't proportioned quite right the way it was. Too much truck hanging out behind the rear wheels, so I'm going to take about 8 or 9 inches off the back, and that will make the bed about 7 feet long, so it'll be right between a 6.5 foot short bed and 8 foot long, or 8 foot long bed. And I think that'll match up nice with the wheelbase, because the wheelbase is on the Crown Vic is actually right between what a long bed and a short bed would be. So stay tuned for that, and hopefully I'll get another episode out soon.